Hello, this is Jack McCoy again, Singerman USA, and I'm doing a series of discussions about mastering the art of singing. And this would be, I believe, volume number 5. And anyway, I post these on my Singerman USA YouTube channel, and also they're linked to my website, singermanusa.com. And check those things out for a variety of other things that are there. But if this is the first one you've seen, yeah, there's volumes, of course, 1 through 5, and you want to take these kind of things to stride and serious, and implement them into your life as far as improving techniques on singing, that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely start at volume number 1. Number 2, for sure, is the one that establishes some exercises and a way of expanding your voice. And that's something that if you're really going to get into singing, you really want to do, because today you kind of want to address is mastering the art of singing is take care of your voice. And a lot of taking care of your voice is flexibility. Key is really flexibility, because your strength is also in your flexibility. It's kind of like you notice athletes, particularly runners, before they run that kind of thing, they go through all these stretches exercises, things, because they need their muscles to be limber. And if you're going to run, even though sometimes it's a high performance run and you got to run fast and hard, you got to stay relaxed. You got to stay flexible. You got to keep your muscles from tightening up, because if your muscles tighten up, then pretty soon, you can't run anymore. Well, it's very similar to the voice. It's like you find yourself in a position where you're trying to sing and you notice your voice is tightening up. Well, that's because you don't have the flexibility really to either endure the amount of time that you're singing, or you're not flexible reaching the notes that you're trying to reach. And that's kind of a key in itself, is that if you're trying to find yourself, you're really having to push to get notes and to reach notes and the kind of thing. Well, these are all things that come more easily when you strengthen your voice. So, like the volume number 2 says, you start with the lowest part of your voice and work yourself through exercises up in the upper range of your voice, and keep doing that. And you can start that off doing it for a few minutes, and then keep adding time, make it longer, and spend more time in those exercises. And at some point, you keep expanding your range. It sounds kind of awful when you get your upper ranges, because you're not used to singing there. But if you keep pushing up there and stretching it, you keep stretching until the voice comes to a point where the area you're singing in is kind of like more of the center of your range, rather than being the top of your range or the bottom of your range, that kind of thing. And sometimes you're wondering, well, where am I going to find this time to do this kind of thing? And for me, hey, I understand time management in that I never believed that my time would become so short that I had to really, pinch and save whatever little piece of time I could get. And I used to do this on my way to work, actually. Now, in that video number 2, I talk about using a pitch pipe. Now, when you're driving down the road, don't be looking down at your pitch pipe and blowing it. It's the same as like don't be on a phone, don't be on your cell phone when you're driving. Well, same kind of thing. You get used to singing it. You won't need the pitch pipe. You can just start off at some point, keep going up high. Maybe when you get all done, you want to see where you're at on the pitch pipe. But this became, like I said, always tell you to keep improving and working that. So anyway, greater flexibility makes for greater range. And if there's times when it seems like you have a blockage or that kind of thing, well, there are natural blockages in that sometimes your voice is a little more gruff sounding, and that could be because there's something in your throat that's just not going to allow to push through by normal means. But sometimes people like this become their own kind of unique singers in that. For example, Rod Stewart, he's got kind of a raspy, whiskey kind of sound to his voice, and he's made it work for him. He's not going to be an opera singer, his voice isn't free enough to be able to do that kind of music, but what he does well. And there's also a singer came out fairly recently. He won The Voice, not this last year, but the year before, named Huntley. And Huntley is one of those voices that has a real rasp of his voice, but he has a fair amount of range that goes with it. And that's not always the case. Joe Cocker, from way back when, could barely squeak out a song because his voice was so thick and raspy that he really had to push hard to try to get through to do anything. And although, some of his things are some of the most endearing things ever, like there's a song that Joe Cocker does, "As You Are So Beautiful to Me." It's like, to me, like a beautiful beast, Beauty and the Beast kind of moment, where this beast is trying to do so hard to do something that makes it beautiful in itself. And so that's one thing about looking about that is, like, you don't always going to have to be a musical theater singer, or you got to be an opera singer when you got a voice like that, but it doesn't mean you can't sing and you can't find your niche in the world. But as far as just addressing with trying to free your voice up and greater flexibility, and if you keep working it, at some point when you're trying to reach a note, you find you won't be trying to push up to it, you'll be able to just hit that note. A really good example of this is Kelly Clarkson. She's singing with Josh Groban, and they're doing this number from the Phantom, anyway. And he's singing along on these little easy little notes to get to, but she comes in this bang right on the very top and just does it effortlessly, because she has had classical training. I think she's admitted to that, but that she says that doesn't mean you can't sing popular music and that whatever. But that's a good example of a voice that's very flexible. She just comes in, first note you hit, just a nice real high top note. I used to have that kind of experience with this. I do musical theater reviews, and I used to do a lot of retirement homes and that kind of thing. And there was a song called "This Is My Beloved," and it comes from a musical called Kismet. And the music is based on Borodin, who wrote some beautiful, beautiful songs. And Stranger in a Strange Land, "This Is My Beloved," a couple of those real beautiful songs. Well, "This Is My Beloved" comes in with a and it started off way high, and on top of my range is like a G, and that was the farthest up I've ever kept working at, because it was really more of a baritone range than a bass baritone like I am. But I kept working my voice and strengthening it. My voice teacher always tried to get me to do that, because her basic attitude was most baritones are lazy tenors. And that means they just don't want to push up that high, because it takes a lot of juice to get up in those high notes anyway. And so I kept working it to where I could actually do that song, and I could sing in concert and not be embarrassed about it. I could start off at a high note. It'd be okay, So anyway, like I said, taking care of your voice is, constantly practicing, constantly expanding your range, constantly working with vocal eases, even if you have to do it on your way to work. Try to get into time to do that and strengthen your voice. Now, when it comes to actual singing, you should also notice that taking care of voice is doing the best you can for it to help you sing. When you're in performance time, there'll be times you'll probably learn the hard way about what not to eat and drink before you perform. My downfall is I go singing every day. I sing. I have approximately 18 to 20 boats every day. I do 3 songs every boat, ranging between 1 to 1.5 minutes. And that's a lot of singing. So that's like, if I sing like that and my voice is strong enough to continue that, I don't have to worry about at some point my voice is wearing out and I, can't hit a note or whatever, and that kind of thing. But also I've noticed that one thing I can't do before I eat is eat peanuts. Peanuts have these real fine, they grind them up, when you're chewing on them and stuff, but they also have these little skins on them and stuff like that. Those little skins, then they get stuck in my throat anyway, and I'll be starting to sing and suddenly, there it is, and now I'm trying to swallow and trying to regain my voice before I have enough time to finish my song, because there's only X amount of time for certain places you are in the canal to be able to do your song. So if you miss out, then you just miss out, so. Anyway, so that's the majority of what it is I want to talk about today. Another thing you might notice is when you're singing, you probably don't want to drink soft drinks, because that's kind of, make it belch, and you'll be in the middle of singing and you're trying to reach for a little steam and out comes a burp instead. Yeah, that's not conducive to a good performance. You're going to distract people with, that, and they're not going to listen to your singing. They're going to remember that you belched in the middle of your song. So, can't think of anything else in the moment, but that's pretty much what I'm trying to drive at: is greater flexibility, greater strength, and like I said, your strength is in your flexibility. You want to be able to strengthen it. And as you go on, your voice, like I said, your notes are going to stomp better on the upper registers and lower registers. If you keep singing, your voice is going to rest and then take more range the next time you try it. And if you just continue that, anyway, I encourage you to do that. Anyway, so Flexibility is key. All right. So thank you very much. Like I said, if you find anything of all interest to these things, even if you don't find them interesting for yourself, forward it on to somebody you think is maybe a young person who's trying to, just getting started singing, and maybe they're in a choir and they don't have a personal voice teacher, and they want to maybe get ahead of the game and excel at what it is they're doing, get an early start on that. Forward them over to me, and forward my videos over to them anyway. Share it, and subscribe to the channel if you like. There'll be more upcoming things in the future. If you have any questions about any things you might want to address too, you can always message me. There's comment sections on my website, but also if you want to email me, it's singermanusa5751@gmail.com. singermanusa5751@gmail.com. All right. Hey, till next time, keep on singing.